My dear students in language school all over Egypt, good evening, everybody. Today we will have a quick revision on what we have studied in programming and artificial intelligence subject. Let's start together. Revision on chapter 8 about network. Who is serving whom? We have two ways to organize city, to have both systems to connect computers or PCs together. We have two types of connection. The first one is client server, on which a server has a different role than client, where server manage a dedicated network. So server fulfill all the requirements of each client. Client-server system is a hierarchy where a client, which is your computer, requests specific services and dedicated server fulfill them. Look like the picture. We have here the octopus, which have many hands to do many things at the same time. So the client here asks for a specific service and the server can helps and serves many clients at the same time. In peer-to-peer system, all rules are the same for each station. So we have a flat relationship where all computers are equal simultaneously, providing and receiving services from one another. We have no server in this system and all clients are called workstations. So what are the specialized shops for Server Square? We have here file server, we have printer server, we have mail server, and we have proxy server. The file server manage and store shared files, manage and store shared files. The printer server handles all network print processing at the same time, of course, but it puts them in an order and serves all the clients of the network. About mail server, it handles the sending and the receiving of emails. The proxy server acts as an intermediary for accessing internet security. So the proxy server is responsible for the security of the network. So proxy server is responsible for the security of the network. And who is the delivery? Let's discuss the delivery dilemma. We have two types, circuits versus packet switching. We have two types of delivering data, circuit switching method and packet switching method. In circuit switching method, we establish a dedicated continuous path before sending, but in packet switching method, divide data into small chunks exchanged over the shared routes. So in the left picture, we have only one path, so full data pass in this path. But here we have many routes and many exchanging for data at the same time. Look at the picture in the right, you can discover that we have many routes at the same time, but they are not stable. They are not stable. And this is an disadvantage. This is a disadvantage for packet switching method. Now it's time to know the anatomy of packet courier. We agreed that we divide data into small buckets. So when we send these packets, we must have a header. The header contains curricle destination information, where this data will be sent to. This data will be sent to. Where, what destination? What destination? Information including the sender and the recipient IP addresses. The data payload, the actual chunk of dividing data being transported over the network. So data is divided into small package and then transported over the network. And we have now to discuss why we transit to IP version 6, while we transit to IP version 6. IP version 4, the old standard, represented by 32 bits expressed as 4 blocks of 8 bits, using decimal numbers from 0 to 255 or 255. So the problem here is that due to explosive internet growth, IP version 4 can't service all the connected PCs at the same time. The IP version 6, the future, represented by 128 bits, and this massive expansion provides enough unique addresses to resolve the exhaustion of issue forever. The global ID. Let's revise what is the difference between global ID and private ID. A global ID is a uniquely assigned identification number used out on the vast public internet. So the IP used in internet network is a global IP. Why? Because all of us can reach this global ID. For example, the IP of Facebook website, the address of Facebook website. It is a uniquely assigned identification number and it is global. Global, so all of us can reach it. But inside a certain network like this picture, we have an address used exclusively with a local area network to identify devices only locally, and these numbers are only used inside the network, but none of other PCs outside the network can reach these IPs or can reach these clients. Now, what about domain name and what DNS server do? Domain name is a string of characters assigned to make numerical IP addresses understandable for human brains. We have DNS, which stands for Domain Name System, and this, of course, communicates human-friendly domain names with machine-readable ID address and vice versa. So DNS used for converting readable IP addresses to addresses in which we can see to URL to, for example, converting www.facebook.com, which is a real address understood by us, to 192 168.11, for example. So DNS converts friendly domain names to readable IP addresses. So DNS server, the dedicated server fulfilling the translation rule for the whole network. Now the rules of the root, how to meet protocol personalities. For example, we have here three types of protocols. TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, which is highly reliable and it is used to divide data and ensure that the packets arrived in a perfect order. And UDP, User Datagram Protocol, which is built for speed. It emphasizes real time of delivery. And the final one is IP or Internet Protocol, which ultimate navigator assign IP addresses to ensure packets are delivered in exact correct destination. So I want to make sure that my data received correctly to the correct destination. This is the function of IP or Internet Protocol. TCP/IP, the Internet Protocol, which is a delivery factory, consists of 4 layers. The first one is application layer, which we mean here the browser layer. We inside this layer using HTTP, which is used for browsers, and SMTP, which is used for sent emails. The second layer is transportation layer, in which we use TCP and UDP communication control and error detection, and of course data diversion. What about the internet layer, in which we make sure that data received in the correct destination? Here we use in this layer IP or Internet Protocol. And the last one is the network interface layer, that we mean the Ethernet, the network card inside PC, which is a physical connection and hardware interaction. So we have many layers, many levels for delivering data. The great routing race, put it all together, put it all together. First step, we divide. TCP splits your data into buckets. Okay, and the second one is we address. IP attached the exact destination addresses to every header. So divide data, then give her the destination we want to reach. The third step is routing. Routers here calculate the optimal and the most efficient data path across the internet. And the last step is reassembly, in which TCP ordered the packets, the request missing pieces, and seamlessly completes the data transmission. Now it's time for exercise. Choose the correct answer. What is meant by a computer network? Is it a program for storing data? Of course not. Is it a group for connected devices to exchange data? Is it an output device? Is it an operating system? What do you think? Yes, correct. It's a group of connected devices to exchange data. Great. The second question. Choose the correct answer. Which one of the following is an example of local area network? The internet? Of course not. An international network? Of course not. It's a local. A network of devices within a single building, or a satellite network? Yes, great. It is a network of devices within a single building. Choose the correct answer. Which one of the following is considered a wireless communication medium? Fiber optic, copper cable, Wi-Fi? We talk about wireless communication medium, so no need to talk about cables, of course. Ethernet is the correct answer? Of course not, it's a Wi-Fi. Choose the correct answer. Which connection type features the highest data transfer speed? Coaxial cable, Bluetooth, infrared, and fiber optics. What do you think? Yes, correct. It's a fiber optics. Choose the correct answer. What is the function of IP address? Identifying the website name, or identify the location of a device on a network, increasing internet speed, or data protection? What do you think? Correct. It identifies the location of a device on a network. Choose the correct answer. An IP version 4 address consists of 2 numbers only, 4 groups of numbers, 6 groups of letters, 1 long number. Let's remember together. Of course, 4 groups of numbers. Choose the correct answer. A network that covers a large geographical area, is called LAN, MAN, PAN, WAN. What do you think? Yes, a large geographical area is called WAN. The network that covers a large geographical area is called WAN. Choose the correct answer. In a peer-to-peer model, devices are linked to a main server, unable to share files, equal in permissions and privilege, connected to internet only. Of course, we call it peer-to-peer, and this means they are equal in permissions and privilege. Choose the correct answer. One of the disadvantages of wireless communication is ease of use, flexibility, low cost, susceptibility of interface, which means here noise. Of course, one of the disadvantages is susceptibility of interface, which we called network noise. Choose the correct answer. Which one of the following is a correct example of an IP address? www.google.com, 192.168.11, google@com, HTTP site. What do you think? Yes, item B is correct. Choose the correct answer. What is the benefit of domain names? Replacing IP address with easy to remember name, data encryption, increasing the storage capacity, preventing internet connection. Yes, correct. Replacing IP address with an easy to remember name. Which model relies on central mail server? Yes, client server is correct. And this is the correct answer. One of the benefits of using network is increasing data size, sharing resources and information, reducing device efficiency. Yes, correct. Sharing resources and information. Choose the correct answer. Which of the following is a wired communication method? Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, infrared, and fiber optics. Fiber optic cable. A wired? Yes, fiber optic cable. Choose the correct answer. Wired connection is preferred because it is less secure, slow, more stable and secure, affected by interface. Yes, correct. It's more stable and secure. Which one of the following is a domain name? We talk here about the domain name, not IP address. So the correct one is all of the answers are numbers, are 4 groups of numbers, except item C, which is the correct answer, www.moe.gov.eg. Choose the correct answer. The server responsible for converting domain name into an IP address is web server, file server, DNS server, mail server. DNS server is the correct answer. What is meant by a communication protocol? A device to strengthen the network, a set of rules that govern the exchange of data, a web browsing program, a type of cable. Yes, correct. A set of rules that govern the exchange of data. Which protocol is used for communication over internet? HDMI, USB, TCP/IP, and Vega. Used for communication over internet is the TCP/IP. And now moving to database revision. What is database? Why we use database? For we talk about the organization of files or organization of information, database is look like a digital library for information. And this digital library is structured in organized table. So when we like to keep data about someone, for example, we want to know his name, his age, and favorite color, we have here, for example, a table consists of 3 columns: name, age, and favorite color. Why we use organized table? Organized table is a suitable way for storing information and also for finding the things fast and easy to search for information. What information we can store in database? Names, numbers, and photos. So a database is like a big organized digital notebook where we store data in a format that helps us to find it easily later. Imagine that you have a box of toys cards. Each card has information like toy name, color, size, and where you got it. If the cards are organized in sections, you can quickly find the toy you want. So a database here works the same way, but on computer. So database stores information in tables like this. Each row here is represent one person data. So each row represent one person data. And each column represent one type of data. So name here represent the column name, or what we call the column for name, or what we call the field name, represent Ali and Sarah, the names of Ali and Sarah, only the names of the persons. The second column or the second field, which is age field, represent the ages of them, one type of data. And favorite color represent the favorite color for each one, blue and pink. Now look at the row. Row number 2 represent data for Ali, his name, his age, his favorite color. Row number 3 represents data for Sarah, her name, her age, and her favorite color. Each row is called record. Each column is called field. So database table consists of fields and records. Fields and records. Now let's check for database management or DBMS. Look at the picture. We have database here which is organized by DPMS. And DPMS, it has an API, has an interface to apps, an interface to user, and interface to another app. So what DPMS? It represents data through APIs to apps or users. It represents database through APIs to apps and users. So DPMS creates, operates, manages database. For example, school management system, which has an interfaces for students, for teachers, and for parents. What are DPMS functions? The first one is data consistency. Data consistency means all copies of data are correct everywhere in database. For example, in school database, we have student name Ahmed in grade 90. Okay, in another way, student name Ahmed, grade 95, system 95. So this is inconsistent data. In inconsistent data, data differs from away from a place to another. Inconsistent. But consistent data means that data are correct in all copies of data everywhere in database. So data consistency, keep the same correct data everywhere. The second one is independence. Data independence means the way we store data is separate from how we use it. We here update, in example, we update school database. We have school database with grades for student 1 and student 2. In a school database, we have another table which consists of ID, name, age, and the same grades. The same grades in both tables. So we have independent table with the same data. They are correct. So programs still work smoothly, but we separate data. So data independence means that we can change database without breaking anything, without losing anything. Data independence means we can change database without breaking anything. When we update from a system to another system, we still keep the same database. What about data confidentiality? Data confidentiality means how to keep data secret, means that authorized users only can access data. Authorized users only can access data. How we can do it? We have two protection methods. The first one is encryption. We should encrypt data, encrypt confidential data. The second one is access control. We can control who can access data. And the third method is authentication, how to check that you are the user who is authorized to access data, how to make sure that you are the user that is authorized to access data. So we have to keep confidential data secured, like personal information, like financial records, medical records, trade secrets, passwords. All these are confidential data. Now, data availability. Data availability here means that data is accessible whenever needed. For example, the data in banks. We can access mobile banking 24 hours, 7 days a week. How we can make it? Through backup systems, through redundant server, through disaster recovery, by maintaining and updates, by protection against attacks. So data should be reliable, usable whenever you need it. What are the types of database? Hierarchical database, network database, and relational database. What is hierarchical database? It is a database which is represented, where data is represented in a tree-like hierarchical structure. Hierarchical database looks like a family tree. One main item, this is a one main item, which connected to smaller items. For example, let's say that the main item here is a company, and these are the departments, and these are the employees in each department. So the main item here is a company. So the smaller items are departments of the company, and the smaller item is employees of each department in the company. Network database. Database where data is represented in a structure similar to a web or a mesh. The network database is like a spider web. One item can connect to many others in many ways. One item, this item, can connect to many items in many ways. For example, a customer can buy many items, and items sold to many customers. Relational database. Database where collected data is organized and managed across multiple tables. A relational database is a database where collected data is organized and managed across multiple tables. Let's see an example. A customer table connected to orders table. An items table is connected to orders table too. So here we have many tables. They are all related together, maybe directly or indirectly. NoSQL. Database management systems other than relational database management system. In NoSQL databases that don't use tables like relational databases, they use other ways to store data. For example, posts on internet is a system storing social media posts. Here, items of data are not stored in tables, but they are connected together. Let's check relational database or RDP. Here we see an example for three tables: students, student courses, and courses. We have here ID. Here it is a student ID, and student ID is repeated here in student courses because we use these fields to connect these tables together. So these tables are connected through ID field. ID field here refers to student ID field in this table. And this table we have ID, courses ID. Okay, and course ID is repeated here because it is used to connect these tables together. So students table and courses tables are connected indirectly. Relational database is database where collected data is organized and managed across multiple tables. A table consists of rows, records, and columns, which we call fields. RGP or relational database. Here we talk about a table which consists of column, which is the student name, and row, which is record, which consists of data about the same item. What operations of relational database? First one, selection. Selection here means how to retrieve specific rows that match a condition. For example, when I told that I want the students of the same age, which is 20. I want to get out the data about students of or where age is equal to 20. Here we talk about two records, Sarah and Lena. So the result here, when we put a condition that the age of a student is equal to 20, we get out two rows only, not all the four rows, because we select data that met or match a condition. What condition is age of 20? So here Sarah and Lena are 20. Both of them are 20. So in this operation, we select rows where conditions are met. The second operation is projection. And what projection in relational database? Projection here means to retrieve specific columns. What are specific columns? We want to show the business or IT departments, employees that work in IT or business. So the result here, Sarah and Ahmed. So we select specific column and ignore others. Join operation. Here we have two tables that contains data about students and in which club they are. Club table includes club code and club activity. Student table includes student code, student name, and club code. So what if we want to join both tables to make one table of two? Here on the right, the result of joining the two tables, student name, student code, student name, club code, and club activity. So what if we like to join only the other two tables, club table and student table? We include here student code, student name, club code, and club activity. Now it's time for exercise. Question number 1. In a table, each row represents a field, a record, a column, and a relationship. Yes, correct. Each row represents a record. Question number 2. Relational database use more than one table, one column, one row, and one field. Yes, use more than one table. Relational database use more than one table. Selection choose all rows, only rows that match a condition, only columns, all tables. Selection choose only rows that match a condition. If we want students in C1 only, we use join, delete, selection, projection. Yes, selection. Projection works on rows, columns, tables, records only. Yes, projection works on columns. Selection works on rows and projection works on columns. Question 6. Join is used to delete rows, link tables together, hide columns, add numbers. Yes, join is used to link tables together. Now to a different type of questions. Complete the following sentences by filling blanks 1 to 4 with the appropriate terms. Summarizing data into a table often makes it easier to understand. A data table, a database where data is managed in a table is referred to as in a, rows are referred to as, and columns are referred to as, also establishing between multiples. Tables makes it possible to eliminate duplicate data, which allows data to be handled with integrity. Read the question carefully. So, summarizing data into a table often makes it easier to understand. A database where data is managed in a table referred to as relational database. And in relational database, rows are referred to as records and columns are referred to as fields, and also establish relationships between multiple tables makes it possible to eliminate duplication of data, which allow data to be handled with integrity. Now consider the operations of relational database. Table 3 below was created by performing certain operations with table 1 and table 2. So list all operations performed among selection, protection, and join. Table 3 was created by performing which operation between table 1 and table 2? Of course, table 1 contains student code, student name, and club code. In table 2, we have club code 2 and club activity. So, how table 3 created by student code and student name and club activity. So, we join here using club code. So, let's have a look on the answer. Table 3 combines the student code and student name from table 1 and club activity from table 2, including a join operation between two tables. Since club code in table 1 is not included in table 3, it can be concluded that it involves a projection, therefore join and projection. We have here two operations, join and projection. My dear students in Language School, thank you very much for following us. We hope that you understand today, revise your information, and be ready for the next exam. Thank you very much for being with me today. Mrs. Rania Mahmoud al-Nagar was with you. Till we meet again, goodbye everybody.